Hello and welcome to the show. I am Joe Tophat. Recently I did a video counting down the top 10 best episodes of Fraggle Rock. Click the link down below if you haven't seen the video yet. In that video, I praised Fraggle Rock for having great puppetry, complex stories, and interesting characters, an assessment I stand by. But what I didn't mention in that video was that I didn't watch it growing up as a kid. At least not the puppet version. The one I grew up with was the animated series from 1987. I only saw the puppet version a few times as a kid. It wasn't until the DVDs came out that I get to see every episode of not only the original version, but the animated one as well. Upon revisiting them, I find both are enjoyable in their own way and have their own strengths. But which one was better? Let's find out. For those of you unfamiliar with the show, Fraggle Rock covers a wide variety of worlds. Within each world is their own set of characters. First there's outer space, or our world. The main characters in this world are Doc, the crazy and often cranky inventor, and his dog Sprocket. Then there's Fraggle Rock, where the Fraggles and Doozers live. Fraggles are playful creatures that live behind the hole in Doc's wall. While there are many Fraggles, only 6 are of any importance. First there's Uncle Travelin' Matt, the bumbling explorer who travels through outer space. He rarely interacts with the other Fraggles. He makes incorrect observations about our world. He would write his observations down in postcards, then sends them to Doc's workshop. Doc then throws them away, and they are picked up by his nephew Gobo. Like his uncle, Gobo is an explorer and often the leader of the Fraggles. There's Wembley, his indecisive friend, Moki, the artist and philosopher, Red, her roommate who happens to be the most competitive of the Fraggles, and there's Boober, the pessimist of the group. The Doozers, unlike the Fraggles, are small, hard-working creatures. They make edible constructions for the Fraggles to eat because they love to build. The only Doozer you need to know is Cotterpin, the apprenticed architect who doesn't mind talking to the Fraggles. The final world is the Gorg's Garden. The Gorgs are giant beings who rule over the universe. At least that's what they say. You see, there are only 3 Gorgs. Pa the King, Ma the Queen, and Junior the Prince. They act like royalty, but they live in a rundown castle and spend their time growing radishes that the Fraggles would take to eat. Man, the Gorgs are really pathetic when you stop and think about it. Oh yeah, there is one more character I like to mention. Marjorie the Trash Heap. She lives in the Gorg's Garden with 2 rats named Philo and Gunge. The Trash Heap is the one the Fraggles go to for advice. With the premise of the show out of the way, let's get down to the differences between the 2 versions. In the puppet version, every episode begins and usually ends with Doc and Sprocket. What is going on in their world often relates to what is going on in the Fraggles' world. In other words, Doc and Sprocket are the transition from our world, the real one, and the fantasy world. Doc and Sprocket are nowhere near as important in the animated version. Most episodes don't even include them. In fact, the animated version never shows Doc's face. I don't understand why. We already know what he looks like from the puppet version, so why not just show his face? He's also nowhere near as interesting in the animated version. There he is just Sprocket's owner, whereas in the puppet version you get to see him do these crazy experiments. The animated Fraggles aren't too different from their puppet counterparts, but they don't get as mad at each other like in the original. For example, Moki got very angry in the original version when Red accused her of stealing her radish bars. In the animated version, Moki never once raised her voice. Don't get me wrong, I don't want the Fraggles angry with each other all the time. It's just that the fact they got angry in the original version made them feel real. That occasionally you're going to get mad at your best friends. That is not present in the animated version. Then there's Cotterpin. The animated series only used her for one episode. Not only that, she never once talked to the Fraggles, even though she did that all the time in the puppet version. I'm very disappointed in this because Cotterpin was one of my favorite characters. She could be bossy, but what was great about her was her willingness to do different things, even if it got her in trouble with the other doozers, especially the architect. That forceful personality isn't present in her single appearance. And this is a minor nitpick, but why is she barefoot? In the original version, she always wore boots whenever she was working. She only went barefoot when she wasn't. But the animated version, she was barefoot at all times. That just seems like a safety hazard. Now for the stories. In the original version, each episode told one complete story, whereas the animated one usually consisted of 2 short stories, similar to what the Smurfs did. That's fine and all, but it doesn't leave a lot of room for character development. For example, the original series explored the prejudices of the characters. The Fraggles love to eat doozer buildings, and the doozers love to build for the Fraggles to eat. But that didn't mean the 2 groups were friends. In fact, the Fraggles didn't seem to have any use for the doozers, and vice versa. This is where Cotterpin comes in. It is through Cotterpin that the 2 groups started to talk to each other. This didn't happen in one episode. It happened throughout the series. That didn't happen in the animated one. It doesn't make it bad, but it doesn't make it in the same league as the original. Finally, I want to discuss the mediums of Fraggle Rock. Both the animated and puppet versions look amazing. It is obvious a lot of work went into making them. Neither puppets nor animation is easy or cheap to make. But which one suited Fraggle Rock? Everyone knows Jim Henson is best known for puppets. Nobody before or since has taken the art of puppetry to the levels he took it. The original Fraggle Rock is a great example of what I am talking about. If you ever watch behind the scenes, you will see how much effort went into making it. Yes, a lot of effort went into making animation, but it's drawn on paper, or as in today's cases, computers. Puppetry is a lot like working with live actors, so I would have to say the puppets work better with Fraggle Rock. Not that there's anything wrong with animation, but again, this is what Jim Henson is known for, is puppetry. In the end, I would have to say the original Fraggle Rock was the better of the 2. There's nothing wrong with the animated version. It's still great, and I highly recommend it. It's just not as good. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments section what you guys think, and don't forget to like and subscribe. See you later.